Hello and welcome back to the finishing line and our weekend preview, where we hope we're going to go over a race and that's going to go ahead. If not, it's going to be rescheduled for next weekend, or not even next weekend. Midweek, they're talking about the card at Newbury, the Denman Chase, Betfair Hurdle card, and Warwick's Kingmaker. So we know Tom tonight. Tom's not feeling well, so he's. Well, we tell him what he put it down to. He had a late night watching the Super Bowl and he hasn't recovered yet. And he's trying to tell us he's not 40. That's an old person's thing.
See, Tom is technically, by his birth cert, the youngest of us, but he's not. He can't be. Like, I still don't believe this.
No.
It's like Andrew Blair Witch saying he's 21. Yeah.
Blair Witch.
And I have a heart that's fully functioning. They're lies, like. They're just plain lies.
Factually untrue.
To be honest, I think Tom is a little bit nervous because Shauna is running tomorrow, and I got that feel from him all day.
Yeah, I think he's nervous because she probably might win.
Yeah, like...
Her form is getting boosted no end last week.
We are optimistic in the long run about things anyway, and we thought she had a right good chance the last day. And I wouldn't say I'd be disappointed the last day because she came third, and I thought the two fillies, the two mares that beat her, were of a decent standard. That form has just taken such a jump with Rosie's Hollow beating Royal Kahala on Monday. And maybe Royal Kahala didn't quite run as well as could have been expected, but Galois was third, who was favourite and right up there in the betting for the mares novice at Cheltenham. So she beat all the right mares. That's a trial for the grade 1 that they run at Fairyhouse about 2 weeks after Cheltenham. I'd say some of those won't even go to Cheltenham. They'll wait for that grade 1. The mare that was second ran a really good race at the good mares handicap at
Dublin Racing Festival.
Dublin Racing Festival meeting. So, and the
Global Equality beating a nose.
The fifth has come out and won a race. She won a maiden hurdle there at
yesterday.
Fairyhouse
Monday.
So the form is there. Probably Willie Mullins' horse is the right favourite, and Joseph Stable is back in form, so he has a horse in there. But
she's right now she's 10-3 in the betting. She's third favourite behind Gorky Dowry Risk Factor, who hasn't done anything since he's jumped the hurdle. Then it's us.
In my eyes, on form, she should be favourite, but I suppose Willie Mullins is always going to have the potential that he has with his horses. So,
like the horse that finished behind Gorky Dowry at Tramore, Getaway Star or someone like that, was beating a mile in the same race that Global Ecology was second in. So technically, it's not right at all. This is me being optimistic. We hold him, or her, should I say, him or her, whoever it is. We hold her our form.
Look, Tom is always going to say.
He's not here. He's not here now, so we can say what we want.
He's saying all day, "I'll take top 4. I want to win tomorrow." I thought for a good run the first 2 times. Now I'm all in tomorrow.
She's like I always say, "Oh, she's going to win. She's going to win." Like the first 2 times, obviously it was a learning experience, and the time before, I knew she was going up against good mares. There's nothing special in this race. And we have technically we have the best form in the race if you take out Risk Factor's bumper form.
Like, I know majority of people who watch the podcast know that I don't bet like a significant big sum of money when I'm betting. Like I've said a couple of times that €30 is my max bet. Well, I have a €20 bet on Shauna tomorrow, so
that's a lie.
That shows I'm quietly confident.
That's a lie. He's 60.
I wish I did.
He's double his stakes on it. Look, we're all hoping for a good run, but I'm genuinely, I'll be disappointed if she don't win.
I'm kind of glad Tom is not here because he won't let us talk about this.
No, he won't be. Lads, come on now. We're hoping for a good run now. If we get beaten now, we want the handicaps now. We can work our way through handicaps. We have the back form. No, Tom, we're going to win tomorrow.
You know, like, it's just class to be involved in a horse,
and she's actually decent.
Yeah, like, and to be fair to Tom, and the lads that are sourcing the horses for Pimlico, they're doing a super job, because they're getting horses that have a chance of winning races, and then you can dream a little bit with them, you know.
And the horses that are relatively cheap, like Sean only costs $8,000 or something like that, and
You're probably not
McPhee.
supposed to have said that.
Who cares? McPhee's. I don't know how much. I do know how to pay for McPhee's, but I'm not saying that one. And same with the horse they have. What's the race? The horse they have in France with David Cotton.
Alice. Oh,
Alice. Softney Bay.
Yeah, they have another one as well. Then yeah.
And Alice, the new one. If someone actually messaged me on Twitter today asking me about if there's any shares left in it. There's not any shares left in the Mayor, but I think there's one with a few shares left. I'm not 100% sure. I'll ask Tom after, and I'll get back to you. I'm full sure Alice is gone and McPhee's is gone. But
they're constantly looking for new ones, so I'm sure there would be more ones to come in the future.
Yeah, and the majority are going to be jumps horses, because Henry's more or less going to be training a majority of syndicate horses, which is another huge plus, because there's not many syndicates around that have like a world-class trainer. He is a world-class trainer. He's a multiple Cheltenham Festival winning trainer, a multiple Grade 1 winning trainer. So
and he's a multiple Grade 1 winning jockey is riding the horses too.
Yeah, so. Rachel Blackmore. She's what, second or joint top with Paul Townend in the Jockey Championship? Like, what more do you want for very little money to be involved in horses like this for a trainer and jockey like that? Like, it takes us a lot to get involved in a horse, and we just got this inkling this is the right one. Not even the horse, the right syndicate to go in on. And it's not just because Tom runs that thing. We tell him straight out, nah, we're not getting involved in that shite if it was shite, but it's not. He showed us all the paperwork, and everything is not like this bloody Kemboy shite that was, what are they called?
Supreme Racing Club.
Supreme Racing. You will know everything that's going on in this syndicate.
Is there an echo there?
No.
But I give Tom a hard time, to be fair. Like, we all give each other a hard time on the podcast. That's
what we do.
Part of the crack we have, but I give it up to Tom. He's doing well with the Pimlico side of things. He's doing a good job.
It's had to come a long way in a very short space of time.
I'm giving him all the props today, because if I don't win tomorrow, he's getting abuse.
Oh, the text will be straight on. We have to record ourselves now if she wins tomorrow.
Yeah.
During the race.
I might even have a bottle of beer tomorrow if she wins.
Oh, if she wins, I'm doing the pint of Guinness over the head. I love me county, boy. Instead, I love me country. Right, we get on to this weekend's racing, which, as I said, mightn't go ahead. Probably 60-40 or even 70-30 that'll be called off. But look, it's going to go ahead midweek, so it'll be here for midweek. I'll say more or less the same horses are going to run in it. And we will start with probably one of the most interesting races of the weekend, the Denman Chase, where Champ is apparently making this comeback. So we've planned this over on Champ. Our giant favourites at 13-8. We've Lost in Translation, who has lost his form altogether, 7-2. Clash in the Cough at 8. Secret Investor 14. Sapage 20s. ASO 20s. A conditional 25s. Definitely Red 33s. And Ballyoptic 33s. Dave, we may as well start with the jumping fridge. Go on, I don't even want to say about this fella.
Someone sent like a video, like in a meme kind of format, of him jumping last year at Newbury when he ran through the last fence, and I into the group, and I done some laughing at it, and I watched it back a couple of times, and for all the world, it looked like he didn't even know the fence was there, because he literally tried to run through it.
He did run through it, didn't he? Jump.
Oh, but I went through this race, and look, I've said about Champ a few times in the summer, earlier on in the year. I said it on Sunday, regards the stats for the Gower Cup. I said he needs to run, he needs to learn to jump better. I do worry if there's an issue with Nicky's stable, because some of his horses haven't run well, others have run okay. But to me, he's the most likeliest winner. I think 6-4 is actually a good price.
Do you?
Yeah, Clandazobo is a good horse, but only a good horse around Kempton. He doesn't like any other track. Going back to 2019, he's won 3 times, twice at Kempton in the Grade 1 that he picked up those 2 years, and a race around Ascot, a 4-runner race around Ascot. He finds a horse to beat him all the time. Lost in Translation seems to have totally lost his form. I still couldn't trust fully the Tizard form and how their horses are running. If it's kind of soft ground, I don't think he likes that, to be honest. And then you're left with kind of ones that if Champ jumps, he'd carry him on his back and win. But Kalashnikov is next in the betting. He's not good enough to beat Champ if Champ jumps around the fences. But do you think even Champ's jumping performance in the RSA last year, he still bet Minetta Indo and Allaho? You surely think Minetta Indo and Allaho would beat Kalashnikov? And that's the way I was looking at it. I don't even think Champ has to jump all that well and should realistically win this.
I can't have him at all. Even on the back of this made up 3-mile race they had, where he this is what I read. I have it wrote down, I think. He jumped, he ran in a 3-mile race around an unknown race course. He jumped 8 fences for the first mile. He didn't jump any fences after that. Do you know why? Because he probably battered about 6 of them. Like, I can't have him. His first race in open company against Clandazobo, who in my opinion is the most solid option of the weekend or in this race. Yes, he's not a frequent winner, but he's race fit. He rang a stinker in the King George, in a very strange King George race where the winner was just let have a freebie. Champ to me is he's going to be fresh. There's no two ways about it. You can't. It's only a certain amount you can do on a race course gallops / race, which is I just can't get into my head at all. He's just a mental patient. What his jumping is erratic. He tries to run. He nearly ran Barry Geraghty out through a rail and the whole straight at Newbury last year. He walked through he didn't walk through he ran through a fence at Cheltenham. The big problem is with him, and I'll say it again, Barry Geraghty is not on his back. Nico de Boinville is on his back. Let's not forget this. Nico de Boinville wouldn't lace Barry Geraghty's boots.
Well, he's highly likely to fall as much as he is to win, but I said this the other day to the lads in the group. If you don't think Champ is severely talented, then you don't really watch and know horse racing. But you have to come to terms with the fact that he's quite as likely to fall as he is to win. So yeah. I know I've come to terms with that last year, and I just think he's brilliant.
He's so talented. Like, the engine is there to win the RSA the way he did. If he could jump, he would be an absolute superstar. At 6-4, I can't touch anything like that that jumps like that. Unless he comes out on Saturday and puts in the most polished performance you'll see out of Champ in his life. And if Champ comes out and doesn't touch a twig going around, where is he, Newbury, I want his chip to be tested, because that's not Champ.
Oh, I don't think he'll put in a good performance jumping wise. I think he'll win, and he'll win by a couple of lengths, but it'll be like, what is this lunatic at? And then on the run-in, he'll just find the afterburners again. Yeah,
that's the thing I was just going to say. The one thing that he has going from this long straight in Newbury after the last, there's a long run-in, there's a furlong and a half or something like that running. That'll suit him down to the ground. But he needs to be there at the last. I think just leave him to his own devices, pop away, and if you're there, you're there. I wouldn't be throwing him at anything, because he'd probably go, what are you doing? And look up at you and forget there's a fence in front of him like Cheltenham.
Oh, no. You're just going to have to leave him do his own thing, I think. I think it's for a lot of it is hope for the best that he gets over him, and he's...
Look, I'm looking forward to seeing and see what he actually does.
It's exciting because he's a bit of an enigma at this stage, and then we haven't seen him in so long. I wouldn't be the biggest fan of Minetta Indo. I think people understand that, but the form is solid. So you're just waiting to see what he does, and you're also not surprised if he does an Asterian kaboom and just bangs the fence. And that's the end of it. Like,
he could literally do anything. Oh, phone bird.
Fowler insurance might be the best bet to do.
Oh, I doubt they'll even give it to you with him. We'll touch on a few more. Lost in translation has lost his form altogether. You can't go near him on his last few runs, especially like I know people say Tizzard had a winner last week with Native River. Few are running well, but he needs a huge turnaround to play a hand in this. Like
I'd like to see him drop back to the Ryanair and on a bit of good ground and go from the front and see what happens. But he would need to seriously come back to form.
Yeah, because on the Betfair Chase form alone, he's a good, 30 lengths behind Clandazovo. And he got pulled up in the King George as well, so he's a lot to find on figures. Then as you said, Kalashnikov shouldn't be winning this. He's not good enough to win it. He's a decent horse, but he's not up to this. Secret Investor, on good ground, he could probably sneak a place. Sapage, no. ASO, no. They've all different condition. I wouldn't touch him ever again. Definitely Red is gone, and Ballyoptic is just Ballyoptic. So technically it's between the top two. It is if Champ sorts out his jumping and has the engine is still there, he should win it.
I'm waiting for Ballyoptic to be in the Veterans Chase around Sandown, and then I'm going all in on him.
All in on Ballyoptic.
On heavy ground. It's
a race I'm looking forward to watching. I'm not going to have a bet no whatsoever. Clandazovo is the most safe bet in it, because if he jumps around and Champ decides to do a Champ, he'll win. But look, it's a race I'm looking forward to.
So I'm actually quite excited to see Champ.
I just want him to see it doing a steering for lunge.
It just wouldn't surprise me.
Right, on to the Game Spirt. We have Altior is back. He is... Altior is 11-10 favourite. We've Grenadine 9-2, So Royale at 11-2, Finian, Destraval 8s, Magic Saint 10s, and Sky Pirate back in 14s. Dave, surely 11 years old, he's still going to win this.
I'd expect him to win this, yeah. I think loads of people keep going on about the fact that he's gotten slow and so on and so forth, but I still go back to last year and that trying the 2.5 miles didn't work at all. I never thought he was like slow or
he just takes a while to get going.
Yeah, he hits a flat spot. He's always hit a flat spot. I was rewatching videos of years gone by. I was rewatching, not particularly for him, but I was watching the Supreme he won. And at the top of the hill, Mill must have been trading fairly short, because he was being fairly rode away, and then he just hit the afterburners. I'd be 10 going on 11. I'd still be very, very disappointed if he didn't win.
Yeah, I would say I think he beats these and beats them handily. Like as you say, like he's not slow. There's still gears there. He finished second behind Newbury and Negra, who like we don't know how good he could just be after improving by no ends. But we haven't seen him since Kempton. But look, I reckon make more use of him. Get him up near the pace where he can. Look, his jumping's never the best over 2 miles for a champion chaser, but he gets from A to B. He gets away from his fences quick. If you're not beating Grenadine, who beat Moonlighter in the Holding Gold Cup round extra. Yes, Moonlighter won again last weekend, but then he was battered 7 lengths by Plittlog in the Tingle Creek. Yeah, he's a decent horse, but he's not up to that standard. So Royale is interesting. He's 3.5 lengths behind Altior in this last season. His first run back over fences this season, he fell in the race at Kempton, but he won a Welsh champion hurdle. This season he was then second behind Epitont and then third behind Song for Someone at Cheltenham. He's always going to be underestimated. What price is he again? I'm just going to check there. He's 11-2. He'd interest me more now than Grenadine at 9-2 to follow Altior home. But look, if he doesn't win this, they're really erring on caution of, do we call it quits with him now? Why would you go up against Shacken and all them at Cheltenham after this? Hello?
Sorry, I went dead there. I don't know what was going on.
You just didn't give a shit what I said. You didn't listen.
I literally thought you were after freezing again.
Hey, I fixed that today. Well, Andy fixed it today. I didn't fix it.
You learn from the best.
Look, there's a bit of what was left, actually. Look.
If anybody watched the
Kaboom!
Sunday show, a fuse literally blew up.
Oh, literally blew like a hole that size in the fuse. Look, you didn't die. Look, you didn't die soon, you. Your shoddy electricity. My God.
It's nothing
You
to do
killed
with
me.
me.
Right, so we move on. Altior wins, yeah?
Yeah, I would hope Altior wins.
So Royal to follow him home. Like, just speaking on that, I'd rather back Altior 11-10 than back Champa 13-8. Because I know he'll jump around at least.
I can understand that.
It's beginning to sound like I actually don't like Champa. No?
Yeah, you don't like Champion. There's a few others you don't like as well.
Champ now in a stairs herd now would be very, very interesting to me. That's what happens. Oh, yeah, we go back to that for a second. Just on that thought, what would you do if he falls?
To be honest, I have no idea. I don't know what to do if he falls.
Would you send him back hurdling? He's an entry in the stairs.
Yeah, probably. You'd have to, I suppose.
You'd hardly risk him in the Gold Cup going around on the back for fall.
He'd probably end up killing himself.
Could be a big box all over again.
Yeah.
Take over the stairs division for a while.
Yeah.
I wonder will I get on before the weekend. Non-run our money back. I need to check that now in a minute. I'm talking myself into a bet now. Right. On to the Betfair hurdle. This is good. We've only 2 races left after this. How much the weekend? So the betting is Kadzan 7s, Metier 7-1, Soaring Glory 7s, Mr. Coffeeer 10s, Edward Stone 12s, Buzz 14s, 50 Ball 14s, and 40. There's a shitload of 14s. 14-1, Bigger Rest. Dave, these are races we absolutely love.
I do. I like this race, but I also never would get the winner of it, to be honest. So I picked one out now, and it could be way left field and terrible, but sure, we'll give it a go. Right? Over the years of watching racing and betting on this race, it usually goes either to an absolute mad outsider at a crazy price, or the top of the market, the favorite, second favorite kind of thing, right? You go through the last few years.
This better be good with all this build up.
Okay, Pick Dory won it last year at like 33-1. Before that, Al Dancer, Kalashnikov, Ballyadam, they were all near the head of the market. Then you have Agrapart, was a massive outsider. Violet Dancer.
Ballyadam?
Ballyandy.
Oh, sorry.
Agrapart was a massive outsider. Violet Dancer was a massive outsider. Splash of Ginge was a massive outsider.
Legend.
Then again, you go back to another 3 that were at the head of the market in Might Enter Yours, Zarkander, and Recession Proof. If I remember correctly, Recession Proof was back to he might not have been top of the market, but there was a good bit of money on him. And Get Me Out of Here, another JP horse. So usually the top of the market finds this, or it's way out of the blue. And to me, it was too hard to pick between the 3 at the top of the market. Metier, Karzand, and Soaring Glory. I actually like that Kadzan for the
County?
That's the one. The county hurdle at Cheltenham. It seems to me that is a typical Dan Skelton county hurdle horse. So I went for one at 40-1. I had good form last year.
Oh, Jesus.
Won a grade 2 around Kempton last year in heavy ground, and has been chasing this year. His last run was put back over hurdles to get a little bit of a sighter. Highway 102. Right? Yeah. In his last race over hurdles last year, before they sent him chasing, he had Kid Commando, who's won a couple of handicaps this year, back in 3rd. Buzz, who's been pretty good in a couple of handicap hurdles this year, back in 4th. And another horse that was being pretty good in handicap hurdles this year, Benson back in 7th. That was a grade 2, and it was a pretty good grade 2 because horses have come out of that and won races, ran pretty well. He looked like he was kind of figuring it all out again last time. It was at Sandown, I think. He was jumping the hurdles too high. He wasn't efficient or fast, and he usually front runs, and he didn't front run that day. So I could see blinkers back on, front running, go fast and see what happens. I think a 40-1 is worth a bet.
That's not a bad show. That's why you get paid the big bucks. I'm impressed. That was a good build up and not a bad shout. I was the same with you at the top three. Metier, yeah, he won the Tolworth, the worst grade 1 in living history every year. By 12 lengths beating... It's cash, like.
It's terrible.
The last good horse to win it, I think, was York Hill, and he's an absolute nutcase. He won the Ballymore that year as well. After that, whose wins it? Like, Fiddler on the Roof, pissed up in it last year, keeps getting beat every single time. Like, he's beat Shake 'em Up Harry, which is not to be shouting home about in the grade 1. He shouldn't be even in the grade 1. Like, he's on 149. If he wins this, he wants to be... Like, he's second favourite for the champion hurl, which is just ridiculous. It's.
Do you want the list of some of the Tolworth winners?
Go on.
Okay, Metier this year, Fiddler on the Roof, Elixir the Nuts,
Jesus,
Somerville Boy, Finian's Oscar.
The Somerville Boy actually won the Supreme after that song.
Then you have York Hill. Okay, Lammy Surge, who's not really that good.
No.
And then Royal Boy, can't remember him. Melodic Rendezvous was no good.
Notorious grade 2 horse.
Captain Conan, no good.
Handicap.
Manila Class, Breeds Breed.
Who?
Exactly. Silverburn, and then probably the best horse, bar York Hill that won it was Nolan. Nolan won the Supreme Novices as well.
Yeah. But
it's generally not a good race.
Even with Somerville Boy win the Supreme, they're not horses you would.
They're not superstars.
No, they're not, and I don't think this Metier is either. He won on bottomless ground. He was the one that went through it the best. Look, he won impressively, but Jesus Christ, I know he's unbeaten 3 runs from 3, but I don't know. Cad Sand is the one that interests me at the top 3. He beat Christopher Wood, who won the Scottish County Hurdle the weekend and won it easy. He beat him by 3 1/4 lengths. He's up to 143. He gets weight off him as well. I think he's a better betting proposition to me in it. Soaring Glory is decent enough. I think he needs to find a lot. There's one kind of at the bottom of the waist. I don't know if he's getting in or not. It's Gary Moore's 50 ball. He's 2 from 3 over hurdles. He's an import from France. He won a handicap hurdle off 113 at Sandown, I think it was, by 13 lengths. He's gone up to 120 now, or 131. He's getting in off a lightweight though, and Gary Moore, his horses are kind of back in form now. He's kind of these ones at the end of the handicap that's getting a lot of weight, and it counts a lot when it's heavy ground. A horse has improved that at that rate and not. So I think he could be very dangerous at the bottom of the weights. I think he's 14-1 at a price like that. His form is decent enough.
I'm pretty sure he was the trainer of Violet Dancer when that horse won it, and it was a pretty big price. Went from the front, was really heavy ground that day. It was lashing raining, and just went balls to the wall. The same way 50 ball has actually ran a couple of times, and it was like catch me if you can. And to be honest, the ground was just too sloppy and too heavy for horses to make up ground. The horse never really did anything after that race. But I mean, if you win a big pot like the Betfair Hurdle, then what more do you need?
Like it was only his 4th run over hurdles. He's been backed off the boards a few times. He's 23 in the ballot, so he needs 1 or 2 to come out, I think. I don't know what's the max in this. But he was... where is it now? Just waiting for this load. His last run was visually impressive. It was 13 lengths win, and it was on heavy ground at Sandown, which we all know when it's soft, when heavy ground, it's really, really soft. His win before that was on good to soft ground, which probably says he'll enjoy the digging the ground again. Like, he's been sent off 11-8 favourite, 9-4, 11-4, and 5-2. So they think a lot of him. I just think there's something about him. He's improving a lot. He's a winner on the flat in France. I really like him. He's one that stood out to me. He's 14-1. I think he's a great bet in this. Even like people are going to say Messi is a grade one. It's a grade one horse who's running a handicap. But look, I think it's one to take on. I'd be surprised if Kazad runs in this, because I was the same thinking of you. He's the county hurdle horse from.
If he runs in this and wins it, like, he's not going to get into the county, surely. Like, he'd be too high in the reins, or he'd be like near top weight.
He's off 138 now. He probably needs to win to guarantee getting in, I'd say. I don't know what the bloody things are for. I'm surprised you didn't put up Edberstone now. Do you know that?
He's no good. I gave up on him. I'm not like Tom. I can give up on horses. I don't care the race he won the last days. He's not good enough. Yeah. I'd be shocked if he won.
Right, final decision. Who are you going with? Finally,
Highway 102 for me, and I actually looked at Time White and 50 ball as well. So I'm actually would not say no to 50 ball.
Yeah, I'm going to have a bit on 50 ball. He'd be one of my decent bets now for the weekend. Now, change tracks. On the way to Warwick. And Kingmaker, Novice Chase, where we have Arkle Hopeful. All Mankind in at 10-11 on. Sky Pirates is Trees. Sheldon in the 7-2. Taramac du Martin?
Tamarack du Martin.
That was close. Tamarack du Martin 7s. And Scarcore 25s. Dave. All Mankind. He's been overlooked in the Arkle a lot. And he's on par with some of the form. I know everyone's going to say he's a 5-year-old, blah, blah, blah. He's only coming out trying forward, but he's a grade 1 winner. And something Shiskin isn't.
Yep.
But he's 10 to, I think he's 10-1 in the betting for that. He wins this today, he surely goes to 5s. How do you think he's going to win this easy? Even though the drop down and trip for Sky Pirate seems to be working a treat with him as well.
He should win. Look, if he's to be winning an Arkle or going close in an Arkle, he needs to win. I still don't think he has his best form around Cheltenham, so it wouldn't surprise me if he won him and bombed out. But I put Cheddleton up in the race that Shishkin won as a bet without Shishkin, and he didn't run. They pulled him out. I'm actually going to back Cheddleton. He wouldn't have been the world's best hurdler, but he had a decent enough level. He's definitely a better chaser. Loves heavy ground. Loves it. And I think if All Mankind made any mistakes or there's any chink in the armour, he'd go close to beating him. All Mankind is kind of odds on. You're getting 7-2, 4-1 for Cheddleton. And on the ratings, there's not a lot between them. And All Mankind is giving him £3, so I'm going to have a go at Cheddleton.
I'd be surprised if All Mankind doesn't win, and I genuinely think he's going to put up to the top 2 in the Arkle. I think he's been overlooked a lot just because the way he does things. He probably will set it up for the other 2 with the way they race, with Nergamene and Shiskin going tracking him. Which I only noticed today. Nergamene's race was ran a 2.5 quicker than Shakan, which is quite impressive. I know.
Yes. Some people timed it different ways, and it ended up that Shakan was a little bit quicker because they timed it from the first jump. So they're like going at race speed, not from when they let the tape off. But yeah, if you timed it that way, and Nergamene was a little bit quicker.
Well, that just blew that theory out the water.
No, it's the way you look at it and the way that you time the races and stuff like that. So it's both. I don't even know what the word I'm looking for. Both theories are correct.
There you go. Took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, I look back to this. I genuinely think All Mankind won't be beaten. Sky Pirate's been dropped to 2 miles. He's won at Cheltenham and won at Warwick. This is probably a fact-finding mission for him if he's good enough to go grade ones after this. He's looked decent enough, but I think he's not up to the level at all of this. Your selection, who did you say again? Sheddleton. Decent horse. He will pick up any piece that if All Mankind falls. Oh, it's a tricky little race if you take out All Mankind. But I'd be shocked if All Mankind doesn't win and shortens for Cheltenham very quickly.
Do you know, like, Sky Pirate and All Mankind, you would assume they'll end up going to Cheltenham. And that's the other side of it. Like, when I'm looking at taking on short-priced horses, is there a reason that they could get bet? Could they be undercooked for all the world? If the main objective for those two horses is Cheltenham, there's going to be a little bit left to work on. And I think Cheddleton's race, he's probably a grade 2 horse. He wouldn't be a grade 1 horse. Getting a little bit of weight. He's probably primed to just go for that race on Saturday or if it's run next week. And that's kind of essentially why I sided with him. Solid
theory. I have no theory behind this, and I just think I was just looking at it and I was like, All Mankind, didn't really look into it. But that's better theory than I have. I'll play it. Right, we move on to the last one we're going to cover because there's not really much happening this weekend, and it's going to be the same until we hit Cheltenham. And Paddy Warwick Castle Handicap Chase. The betting is as follows. Midnight Shadow 6s, Kalashnikov 8, Smarty Wild 8, Spirit of the Games 9, Mr. Whitaker is 10s, Admiral Seeker 12s, another quick 12s, Old Grangewood 12s, and 14-1. Big of the race. Who are you fancying, Dave?
I don't really like this race, but seeing as it was one of the races, I picked out.
Jesus.
Umbrigado.
Oh, you want Cliff Horse?
I have a little bit of a soft spot for him, and
I wonder why. You get on to me about bloody chestnuts. Doesn't matter what the form of horses is. If he's grey, you're on him.
I don't think he's grey.
Oh, I think he's grey. I'm nearly for sure he's not grey. I'm thinking a different horse, but
no, it's those colours because since years ago when
Dynast.
Dynast, that's who it is, and
grey
those
horse.
Colours, then I see those colours, I see Dynast, and they're none of the horses any good. Like,
since when did Dynast come so shit?
It was one of my. Back in the day, it was one of my better anti-post and bigger bets for the year that he won the Ryanair. And I think everybody was on Alpha Off to win the Ryanair that year. I was delighted. And
thanks for reminding me of that. Thanks.
Since then, I see the colours and I'm sold. But it's a hard race to weigh up. There's loads of kind of seasoned handicappers that might win or might run badly. So I gave him a go. He's in a light enough weight. So.
Pricely?
10-11-1.
Yeah, I was looking at this and I spent a little bit of time on it. There's two that kind of stood out to me. One being Smarty Wild, who won last time out. I actually backed him that day. His jumping can be sketchy. He's kind of guessed that one or two. Richard Johnson on his back now is the right person for him. He beat Pistol Whip at Kempton. There was a lot of money from that day. I think he opened up at 5s and he went off 5-2 favourite. Well, he was 5s in the morning and he went off 5-2 favourite. He's kind of keen in his races. He makes the odd mistake, but there's a huge engine underneath. He was headed. Well, he's not headed. He was kind of pressed the whole way by Pistol Whip, who was travelling really, really well. But he just out-battled him and won by a length going away in the end. I think there's a lot of improvement still to come from him. Before that, he was 6 lengths third to Benny's King at Ascot as well, which was a good run. And then he made too many mistakes around Wetherby the time before that, which is kind of concerned when he's back at Wetherby. But I think he might learn a lot from his last run. He's a very talented horse. I think 12-1 is a decent price. There's another one who I really like. I actually put him up the last time he was meant to run, but he didn't actually end up running. And it's another Crick, Noah Williams horse. He made his comeback from 654 days off the last time behind say it for me.
Lord of Kerrak.
Lord of Kerrak, yeah. Before that, before his break, he was 13 length winner at Kempton, beating Danebridge very, very easily. He's gone up a stone for that, and the ratings are nearly full sure. The way he travelled the last time.
Do you know, I backed him the last day. I thought he was going to win, and then he just fell apart. I'd say he wasn't fit enough.
That's my whole point behind it. Like, I know people say bounce factor and that, but he's after having a nice break between that, so that shouldn't be a factor. He's only an 8-year-old still. He's in off 10 stone 1 as of now. He's rated 134. I think he's at least a mid 140s horse over fence if he can get over fences. I went back and watched his race.
He travelled like the winner the last day, the whole way around.
Yeah, he was out the back. Paddy Brendan was on him. I think he's going to be on him again the weekend. It was just a really eye-catching performance for his first race back. And then you go back and look at his race at Kempton where he beat Danebridge. He didn't put a foot wrong the whole way around, just cantered home. He's a very talented horse. If he comes on from that run, which you expect he does, because as Dave said, the way he travelled around, he looked the winner the whole way around. He stood out like a sore thumb until they went for him. Or they didn't even go for him. Bloody Paddy Brennan just brought him into the race nicely and gradually. And he gave him a little squeeze, went for his effort, gave him 1 or 2 cracks and left him come home at his own pace. And he still ended up finishing second. I think he's going to take a hell of a beating if he comes on for that run. He's a very talented horse. He's a good strike rate. I think it was 12, 14 to 1 in the place. He could take a lot of beating. He's like the only downfall is he's only ran on heavy ground once, but that was early in his career now in Sandown, and he's beat 47 lengths in it. But he's form on soft ground and good at soft ground. But I think he comes on for that run. I think he'll take a hell of a lot of beating. And anything? Go on.
I couldn't argue with that. He did really travel unbelievably well the last day.
It's interesting clashing coffs in this as well. If he runs in this, he'd have a squeak.
I'm never backing a horse or putting him up again, ever.
Newbury last year still at you, isn't it? When he got beat by Old Grangewood, done him on the line.
Since the time in the Supreme, he just seems to find a way to lose races, and I just can't be getting my horses like that. I'd prefer the horse to come 10th or 9th in a race of 12 than consistently come second. It gets to me that they're just not putting it all in. If they bomb out, then grand, they had a bad day or they're not up to that level. But if he's consistently coming second, I can't be dealing with horses like that.
I think the favourite as well, Midnight Shadow, I think he's a false favourite altogether. His form is not up to much this season. Like, he was beat 31 lengths by Nutswell and then 15 lengths behind Chatham Street Lad at Cheltenham, which is not bad form. Chatham Street Lad ran a decent race next time out off a lot higher mark.
To be fair, Chatham Street Lad could have won by 30 lengths that day. Yeah, he was miles better than the rest of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm on about. Like, if you can't really... Yeah, he was 12. He was, like, in fairness now, he was 12 lengths in front of Benatar, he ran no sort of race. He got a weird ride the weekend. For a front runner, he got held up and was just pulling his whole way around.
Yeah, it was a strange one.
I'm happy with another crick anyway, 14 to 1 each way play.
Umbrigado each way.
Dave, that's it.
That kind of we're gearing up for Cheltenham now. You know what I mean?
Speaking of Cheltenham, our Cheltenham preview again is not on the 29th because there's only 27 days and
28.
So you can never get it right. 28 days. But it's on the 26th, 7:30, live on YouTube and Facebook, and it's going to be right crack. We might have a few things going on that might be fun. Can't say.
Do you know what I learned this week?
What? That I'm always right?
No, that like, as much as a hard time I give you for not pronouncing horses' names right, you're just like not the only one that does it. Like, I don't know where it was. It
was Barry Geraghty, wasn't it?
Barry Geraghty. Trying to pronounce Michika or something he called it. What is going on? And it's consistent as well because it happens on every podcast. I don't know. Nobody knows the names of horses.
Do you know what his?
Fact number 6.
Too many bangs to the head.
Too many French names.
See, I see a word and I see something totally different to everyone else sees.
I was watching it and I heard him saying it. I was like, oh my God, that's Andrew Halligan.
You bitch. True though. I'm awful at pronouncing French names.
Oh God.
I'll never forget the day I spelled my own name wrong. That was a long day.
Not sure you should tell people that.
Oh, Andrew, I think I spelled it. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Right, naps, next best. There's not much we can bloody nap, but anyway.
Andrew is actually how you spell Andrew.
Andrew. I said ER, didn't I?
No, you said REW.
Well, maybe I can spell my own name right then. Oh, it's been a long day again.
Good God.
You'll all find out why I've been like this last few weeks and a few days.
Andrew's a bit stressed. It's been a long day all around. Tom is stressed. I was up in Dublin. You were busy.
I've been sending emails back and forth since 7 o'clock this morning till 6 o'clock tonight. Head's melted. Anyway, nap. Yeah, fun times.
Nap is champ.
All right. Boy. Just love him. I love that you love him so much.
Give the people what they want.
Dead by fence. Go on, next best.
I go highway 102 each way. I think 40 to 1 is way too big.
It is very big. My nap, look, Altior, 11 to 10. That's a win. He should carry these around. Next best, another crick each way. I like him.
Yeah, he really did travel well the last day. I can't stress that enough. I couldn't believe he didn't win.
He was traveling like a travelly thing and just... It's not that he didn't find anything. He just was a horse that needed to run after 600.
He looked like a horse that got tired.
Yeah. Right. So that's us done for the weekend. Look, racing probably won't be on, but it's going to be rescheduled for during the week or latest Friday, I think. So once it's announced, if it is off, I'll repost it again. So you can remind yourself of all the losers. Our winners were given out. Damn it. Right. So we're going to do our Cheltenham Festival anti-post video next, but we're going to go through all of our anti-post bets for Cheltenham because there is absolutely no point putting up anymore since the Dublin Race Festival is up. We'll be only putting up things for the sake of it and look stupider than we already do.
Yeah, we'll obviously go through a few handicaps as they come a bit clearer, closer to the time. But
yeah, once the weights and everything are announced for the handicaps and so on. Speaking of handicaps, the Grand National... Actually, look, we'll grab another 5 minutes out of this. Grand National weights are out tomorrow. Apparently, if Tiger Roll gets a mark in the 160s, he ain't running.
He's not getting 159, so he's not running.
He said this last year as well.
He's not running. I'd say he actually will run the Irish Grand National. Know that?
Think so?
Yeah.
Cross country? National?
Yeah, cross country Irish National. You see, the fella from Ferryhouse said he'd give Michael O'Leary a job putting together the first fence so that he can watch the race if he runs in the Grand National in Ireland.
Really?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Oh, he'd probably do it anyway.
Speaking of funny things, did you see Willie Mullins' interview about monkfish?
Oh, I did, yeah. When he said, what the hell did we buy?
What the hell are we after buying? All we have is a big slow galoot.
Oh, then he ends up probably being the best horse he'll ever train.
And then he said, I don't know where this came out of. He's load of speed now. I don't know where it came from. Oh, very good.
Such a good horse.
Very good.
Let's hear Paul Nolan then.
No.
Apparently he is skipping Cheltenham because he doesn't want to face Monkfish and go to the 2.5 mile at Ferryhouse.
No, that would make a bit of sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Go to the National Hunt Chase.
It would, because I know a lot of people want him to go to the National Hunt, but I don't know if he stays that well.
Dave, he's the slowest car.
He's not that slow.
I can't get where people are saying he's speedy.
He won a bumper over 2 miles. He won a graded race over 2 mile 4. That kind of, it's a 2 mile 4, 2 mile 5 kind of race. It's the race Album Photo won his first grade 1 in. The Sutton Gold Cup around Ferryhouse. Same weekend that Mayor's Novice Grade 1 is on.
What's the call again?
The Powers
Gold Cup. Yeah.
I could see him winning that.
Oh, he probably would win that because the horse that run in Cheltenham are not going. Well, the ones that win won't run there.
Some of them run there, but they never run good after running Cheltenham.
Look, I understand where it's come from. I just want to run the National Hunt Chase because you win it.
Yeah, like obviously, but like at the end of the day, they have a horse that's a Grade 1 caliber horse. If Monkfish wasn't around, he'd be after winning 3 Grade 1s over like
he sounded
2 Grade 1s over fences. Like
even in the article I read, it sounded so depressed. You could just imagine him saying in such a depressed voice, "Oh, we've Monkfish and we don't know what to do now. I'm a bit down after it."
It is hard. Like
just give Paul a little hug, please.
Like Willie Mullins obviously has a massive string and a massive firepower. Like he has a horse there that would be an Albert Bartlett winner, a 2-time Grade 1 winner over fences, and a short price favourite for the RSA if Monkfish didn't exist. But unfortunately, he does.
Now that you say it like that, I can understand why he's depressed.
Exactly. Like
sorry, Paul. I take it all back now.
I suppose his thinking as well. I mean, if you're running that Grade 1, he'd have a favourite chance of winning it, and then go back up to 3 miles, maybe at Punchestown Festival. And a lot of the Cheltenham horses find it hard to back up in Agetur and Punchestown, so he'd probably have a better chance of beating Monkfish then, because he's not going to beat him next year, like in the Gold Cup and so on and so forth.
Yeah, if you're talking Grade 1 wise, and you're not really bothered about. Look, you're not going to win the RSA if Monkfish stays on his feet. Do you want to? He probably has in the back of his mind thinking of what happened to Discorama. Discorama has been the same horse since either as LeBroy.
It's a very hard race to win. Very grueling on novices. I think the only one in the last few years that really came out and was a star after it was Native River. And to be honest, he's one of the toughest horses I've ever seen. So.
And he didn't even win it.
Yeah.
Who won it that year? Manila Rocco won it that year.
Yeah, it was never the same horse after it either.
Yeah. Right, we'll wrap up now this time. So as I said, we're going to do our anti-post book next. We're going to go through all our selections and see how we're getting on and what we think of him. So give us a like and subscribe if you haven't already, lads. Comment below your best bet for this weekend / midweek, which is going to happen. And we'll see you on our Cheltenham Festival anti-post video, the review.